You're live. You're live. Hello. Deepesh Patel. Good afternoon. Good morning. I think you might be in India, so it's very good morning to you. Welcome to the chat. Deepesh, can you hear me okay? Can anybody hear me? Can you just give me an audio check, please? Okay, all good? Regina, thank you. All good. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. We'll just wait a couple of seconds before we get underway while people come and join. Eric, welcome. Brian, welcome back from Durban. Brian, I just want to let you know that my wife is not going to run away with Andre Pollard. She said definitely not. She's going to stick around with me, so that's good news to start the stream today. Juan Pierre, howdy. How are you today? All good? Hello, Wayne. Thanks for joining. Daryl from Alberton in South Africa. Beautiful. Hello, Daryl. Welcome. This will be officially the last chat before the big game on Saturday night. I'm expecting everyone to be nervous. Very nervous. So today on the stream, good evening from Belgium, Tristan. I used to live in Brussels, Tristan. Woolaway St. Pierre was my home for many, many years. Box must win, according to Wayne. Okay. So must the All Blacks. So that's what makes it intriguing. Epic nerves, yes, I feel it too. Just before anybody asks, my mirror is not crooked. It's the way I've got my computer and every set up on my desk. So no need to tell me my mirror is not straight. Nervous as hell. Regards from Cape Town, Rugby Guru. Good to have you back. I'll start in just a second or two. We'll let a few more join us. A few people said they might be a couple of minutes late. Hope you're all doing well across the rugby world today. Hope you're as nervous as I am. And looking forward to having a chat today. We're going to talk about the teams, of course. So want to hear all your views on your respective teams and also on the opposition team. Let me know what you think about the opposition team. Are you scared with the choices they've made, forwards and backs, and the bench? Can't wait to hear all your views on that. Where is Oscar? He's right here. Brian, come here, mate. Come here. Come and say hello. Okay, don't. He's down by my feet. Doesn't want to get up today, Brian, but he's here. He's listening to you all. It's true, Russie must get their act together. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, let's bang on so we don't wait too long. So thanks, everybody, for joining. And to those that are coming in through the stream, we will welcome you as well. But great to have everyone here. Well, it's, less than 48 hours until the big game now. And I also want to make note on this live stream today that we have another game going on this weekend, Australia versus Argentina in Townsville in far north Queensland. And I'm just as interested in that game, actually, because I think there's... Oh, you want to come up now? Okay. Come here. There you go. Say hello to everyone, and then you can go and play. Say hello. Say hello to everyone. Hello. Hello. Who's going to win? South Africa or New Zealand? New Zealand. Oh, you're a good puppy. Okay, see ya. So, yeah, Australia versus Argentina. Seen both of the teams. I'm going to make a video about that, a shorter video probably later on today. Give a bit of a preview thought about that. But the Wallabies have put out a good team. Good to see Nick White back from injury. Tom Liner's back from injury on that one as well. And I think the Aussie backline looks pretty good, actually, if Tom Liner does the job at number 10, and their forwards are good. Will Skelton's been replaced by Tom Hooper at lock for the Wallabies. They've got a good front row, and their back three in the forwards, Rob Valentini, Fraser McWright, and Harry Wilson is back this weekend. So that's going to be a big plus for the Wallabies. And the Argentinians are pretty much unchanged. I think they've put Carreras back in at number 10 again. But I will make a video on that, so we won't talk too much about it here unless you want to. Okay, All Blacks and South Africa. So let's talk about the selections first of all. I must say, when the All Blacks team came out, it was, about 7 o'clock here in Cancun last night when we got the news. And I got to say, I was pretty happy with the team, considering. Of course, I wasn't happy that Rieko Ioane was there, but Sevu Reece was gone. That was a good thing as far as I was concerned. I was very happy with the forwards, and I quite like what Razor's done with the bench, because I think in terms of having Fabian Holland come off the bench, that's going to be a great impact in the second half. And I think he's played that well by putting Parker in there to start off with. That's my view on that. So I'm interested to know what you think of that. But the front row coming off the bench is extraordinarily good for the All Blacks. So I'm very excited about Tamati Williams, Takiaho, and Tyrell Lomax coming back in. So that's going to be enormous, I think, for the All Blacks. So I was very excited about that. I think the forwards are really evenly matched. I don't know how the Springboks left out RG Schneemann. I just would have gone with him, as I said in my preview video today. So, yeah, overall, I think considering the players that Razor had to select from, I think he's done about as good as he could, except for number 9 and number 11 for me. That's where the weakness is still. And we talked about that plenty yesterday, so we can go over that. But I pulled up a stat today. You might be interested to know if you don't know this one. Rieko Ioane. He's played against the Springboks 14 times as an All Black. He's won 6 of those games, or been in the winning team 6 times. He's been in the losing team 7 times, and he was in 1 draw. So when Rieko Ioane starts for the All Blacks, they have they have a 50% chance of winning. So there we go. That's probably not a good omen around Rieko Ioane. So yeah, those are some of my initial thoughts, but let's get on to your thoughts and I'll give you my feedback on those. Daryl Prentice says it's going to be a belter. Yes, no question about it, Daryl. Sean Bishop says Beauden Barrett is a proven match winner. The All Blacks will win from a box supporter. It's impossible to beat New Zealand at home. Well, that's not true, Sean. Argentina did it quite well just last year. And I tell you what, that French team wasn't too far away from it either in the beginning of this year. You talk about Beauden Barrett being a proven match winner. Here's some more stats for you. So in his career so far, Barrett's played against the Box 21 times. He's scored a total of 101 points. So that's an average of 4.8 points per game, Beauden Barrett against the Springboks. And on the other hand, Andre Pollard has played 14 times against the All Blacks for 74 points, an average of 5.28. So Andre Pollard is a little bit ahead when it comes to points scored against the opposition in these two teams. So that was an interesting stat, I thought. Jasper, I'm excited after seeing the teams. Seems a record is about to be broken on Saturday. That seems to be confident. What do you like, Jasper, particularly about the Springboks team? Is there something that jumps out at you about this Box team that's been announced for the weekend? What do you think of the captaincy? I see that's something that a lot of Springbok supporters have been talking about. Eric B. Parker, Satiti and Savir is your back row for the Rugby World Cup. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think that's looking pretty good. And now's the time for Razor to consolidate those guys and give them lots of games together so they can work out all their different combinations. But, yeah, I'm expecting that to be the case as well. Eric B. I would agree. Deshane says, when Pollard takes the field against any opposition, that's an automatic 12 to 15 point in penalties and conversions. We need to be disciplined. Yeah, no doubt about it. And I said this in the preview video, if you haven't watched it yet, in the preview show. I talked about the importance of discipline around both penalties and cards because it'll give away points. And Andre Pollard, in my opinion, and the statistics back me up now, well, I've just read out, there's a likely chance to get the points for the Boks. So if it's going to be a close game, which a lot of people are saying it's going to be, then that might be the difference, a kick here or there, as we've seen in the last few encounters between these teams. Jasper, Keenan, Moody, Ethan, Hooker, and Willie LaRue, deadly combos. Yeah, can't disagree with that. And I also said in my preview show today that I'm really looking forward to Keenan Moody having a good game. I really, really like the guy. He's a great player. And I just think in the last few starts for the Boks, we haven't seen the best of Keenan Moody in those games, but we all know what he can do. And let's hope he rises to the occasion. And let's hope the conditions allow it. If you haven't been kept up to date on the weather in Auckland, it is due to rain all day Saturday until about 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and then it appears that the rain is going to stop, and we should have cloudy conditions for the game. So we'll have to wait and see whether that's the case, because the weather in Auckland can change quite quickly. So hopefully it won't be raining during the game, but it could be very wet underfoot and conditions could be difficult. Ollie, welcome to the chat. Toss of a coin. Yep, no doubt about it. I think this is going to be an extremely close game. I said in my preview show today that I think there's only going to be a few things in it. And if it comes down to a kicking duel between Andre Pollard and Beauden Barrett, I think Pollard's going to be a little bit ahead in terms of percentages. The weather can be wet, but all over our hearts will be on fire. Yes, no doubt about it. Yeah, no doubt about it. Mark, do you think Scooter is a better communicator with the referee compared to Ardi? Look at Khaleesi. Seems like the refs just listen to all he has to say. He knows how to speak to the refs. That's a really interesting question. My answer is I don't know. I haven't really noticed that. I've seen Ardi on a couple of occasions get a little bit frustrated with the referees because they weren't seeming to listen to him. So I'm not sure if that's what you're alluding to, but maybe Scooter is better at that area. That's something I'll take a look out for in the weekend. That's a great point. Tristan, don't like Keenan Moody at 11. He had very limited experience at 11, none at international level. Interesting. Okay. So too late now to make changes, but would you have preferred to see Mapimpi there instead of Keenan? I wouldn't. I think Keenan's the guy. Got to back these guys, right? Once they get in the team, you got to back them and give them a go. So, even though I've got my ills about Rico Ioane and Finlay Christie, I still want them to do well, of course. But it's up to them. They have to deliver. It was a no-brainer dropping Reece. Yeah, many said that, Ben. Ben from Connecticut, if I remember right. Yeah, I think so. But then if you're going to say it was a no-brainer dropping Sevu Reece, was it a no-brainer in dropping Rico Ioane? Many people think that as well. But that didn't happen this time around. I would have loved to seen Leroy Carter in the team this weekend. Tristan, first time since World Cup final, I'm nervous for the scrum battle as a Springboks fan. Yeah, I think the forward battle is going to be extraordinarily interesting. That first 20 minutes or so, I think we could see a few penalties from the scrums, and that could set the scene a little bit as well if one team gets on top in the referee's eyes. We all know how that goes sometimes, right? If the referee sees any form of dominance at all, they're going to reward that, I think. So I think that early scrum battle is going to be very, very significant. Ollie says, then Barrett should be practicing the goal kicks all week. Should contract Dan Carter. Yeah, I'm sure Beauden's been practicing his kicking. He's just, I don't know, I've never been a goal kicker, but I guess it's one of those things on the day with him. He seems to be hot and cold sometimes. I think last weekend he couldn't miss in the first half, and then in the second half he couldn't get anything against the Argentinians. So, yeah. David says, this All Black team defo has more fizz, it seems. More fizz. Does it? Does it have more fizz? I see Deolandi, Creel, Moody, Willie LaRue and Colby having more fizz than the All Blacks have been showing. No doubt there's individual brilliance there from the All Blacks with Will Jordan. He's been fantastic. What Narawa brings, we'll have to wait and see whether he's going to be good under the high ball and whether or not he's going to be able to be an effective gain line seeker when it comes to the All Black attack. But I don't know whether I say the All Blacks have more fizz. What do you guys think? Do you think the All Blacks have more fizz? A draw would be a great result for amazing second game challenge. Gary Jones says that, yeah, wouldn't it? A draw. Well, we've seen it. What was it, 16-all last time they drew? And it would really set up a cliffhanger in Wellington. But do I think it's going to be a draw? I don't think it is. I think one team's going to get it either way. I don't think it's going to end in a draw. That last 10 minutes, 70 minutes to 80 minutes, that's going to be absolutely crucial. Everybody's been talking about the box kicking game. Watch out for this running rugby coming by the back line. I think that's a very good point, Jasper. I think that Russie is going to spring a little bit of a surprise on the All Blacks. I think we're going to see Andre Pollard take his chances when he can and open the back line up. You only got to go back and watch the videos between these two teams, and whenever the Springboks run the ball at the All Blacks have trouble, particularly when there's quick second or third phase ball. And we've also always seen great tries by the Springboks halfbacks when it's been around that type of play. So, yeah, I would agree. I think there's going to be potentially more running from the Springboks than what we probably think in this game. But I think the beauty of having Pollard there in the beginning is being able to manage it either way. So, yeah, really, really good. Brian, discipline, no unnecessary cards from both sides. Yeah, we don't want the game ruined by cards, do we? That's the last thing we want. At the end of the day, I don't really care which team really wins as long as we get a true reflection of the quality of rugby on the day. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you all today was I think it's pretty well agreed that both teams haven't been playing at their best level in their last game or two. And I was just thinking what you thought around the point of if one of the teams absolutely finds their form this weekend, who's it more likely to be? Is it more likely to be the All Blacks, or is it more likely to be the Boks that just regain the form that we know they've both got? That could be a telling point. Sean Bishop says, I don't rate RG Schneemann. He has no ball skills. Thomas du Toit gives away too many penalties. Go Bokke. Well, I've got to disagree with you, Sean. I've seen RG Schneemann play a lot of rugby, both for Leinster and also for the Springboks, and his offload skills are extraordinary. And in fact, he'd probably get in any New Zealand basketball team. He's that good. But yeah, I rate the guy hugely. And, I can see why Luther Jaeger is in the team and the bench. And I understand with Quagga, there's probably no room for RG, but it's a tough call leaving the guy out of the team. He's that guy for me. Schneemann is that guy that can set up that ball to get a match-winning try. He can just put a player through a gap in the last 20 minutes of the game that can be the difference. And yeah, he's a monster. But Peter work rate is next level. Yeah, Peter Steph du Toit, of course. Yeah. He was out with an injury, wasn't he, Peter Steph du Toit? So he's still coming back from that surgery he had, I guess. Eben says RG Schneemann is the best number 5. Yeah. Hard to not agree with you on that one. Dushan asked me, do you think Razor will be bold enough to have Roygaard, Love, Clark, Fainganuku, Proctor, Jordan, and Geordie at 15? No, is the answer. I don't think he will be bold enough. And I'm assuming you're saying for the second test. Look, my whole notion of having Ruben Love in at number 10 is that he gets a chance to bet himself into that position. And a lot of people say, well, this is not the game. Okay, if this is not the game, when is the game? And he's got to have a chance to blend with his number 9 and to be able to start to call the shots. And that takes some time. So you've got to play him over and over again. And that's why I'm saying I'm actually celebrating Razor's decision to play Proctor again this weekend, because it could have been easy for Razor to go with Anton Leonard-Brown in this team. But I applaud him for going with Proctor. He's standing by him. He's giving him an opportunity to play. I asked last year for Proctor to be given the chance to play on a regular basis to show what he's got. And I think it's great that he's in the team this weekend. He's been given the chance. It's up to him now. If he's going to be good enough to retain that 13 jersey for the All Blacks, then it's all on his shoulders. So you can ask no more than that from the coach. Rugby Guru, going to be a tight game at the end. Strong wins forecast. McKenzie going to miss a few. Therefore, Pollard need to play 80 minutes. First 30 minutes decisive. Strong wins forecast, is he? Okay, I haven't heard that part. McKenzie going to miss a few. Miss a few what? Tackles or kicks at goal? Or what's McKenzie going to miss? Doc Martin says, I really can't see the Springboks getting it done in Eden Park. Auckland All Blacks are ready and waiting. Yeah. Well, I think we first of all should celebrate the fact this game's being played at Eden Park. I saw a press conference with Razor today that said, when the draw came out last year and New Zealand were going to host this game, that he felt that it was the right thing to do to have the game at Eden Park because he knew that there'd be a lot of hype around it. And I think for it to be coinciding with Artie's 100th cap, I think that's a brilliant thing for New Zealand rugby, but it's also great for rugby fans in general. Yeah, I don't think there's been as much hype around a game since the Rugby World Cup final in 2023, but good stuff. Good morning in ACT Canberra, another place I have lived during my journey. Bet it's cold down there this morning in Canberra. Rugby Guru, RG will be a beast in the second test. Let's hope so. Let's hope he gets a chance in the second test. Probably will do if Russie keeps changing his team around a little bit, depending on how this weekend goes. G'day, David. Welcome. It's okay for being late, mate. We won't give you a red card for that. Brian says, Springboks and All Blacks have not played good so far in the tournament. Springboks 4-0 against All Blacks, but means nothing at Eden Park. I think it does mean something at Eden Park. And the reason I say that, Brian, is because I just feel as though that 4-0 is another part of the pressure that goes on the All Blacks. And as difficult it is for teams to turn up to Eden Park and psychologically prepare themselves for that, the All Blacks are going to have a part, and I'm sure they've talked about it during the week, that it's been 4-0 in the last 4 games, and they need to turn it around. So as Razor talks about a lot, acknowledging that, I agree with him. You have to face that challenge on up front and acknowledge it, not to deny it. Springboks have been the better team. Good evening, Adrian in Cape Town. Nice to have you with us. It was 22 degrees in Cape Town yesterday. What is it today, Adrian? How do you think Razor will utilise Fainganuku for the end of the year tour? Do you think he played better on the midfield or the wing? I'd like to see him in the midfield. But he's more or less probably going to end up on the wing, and I think he will get some games at the end of year tour. I hope he does, because the All Blacks really need to sort out this backline issue that they have. Now, whether that comes down to the players or the way they're playing or being told to play, could be a bit of both. I think Leicester is going to add value to that process. So, yeah, I'd like to see him get some game time for sure in the Northern Tour, but I'd also like to see him get some game time in the remainder of the Rugby Championship. David says, plenty of Bok fans are not sure about the team. They look very doubtful. Well, I don't know, David. I think there's plenty of Kiwi fans that would say the same thing, but I think there's equally amount of fans on each side who believe their team can win. That's the thing with social media, right? You always have the naysayers here, but no, I think there's an even split of fans that really believe the All Blacks will win as well as the Springboks will win. Dr. Assi and team are failing SA. Why do you say that, Wayne? Can you give me some reasons why you think the team are failing SA? 16 degrees right now where I am. Okay. It's not too bad. It's over 40 degrees Celsius here in Cancun again today. So if you're looking for hot weather, get on a plane and come over here. Late to the party, greetings all. Greetings to the Bay Area. Welcome back again today. Hope all is well. We're talking about the team selections. We're talking about the last thoughts we've got around this particular game. Interested to know people's thoughts about the different selections, some of those questionable ones in each of the teams. Also interested to hear what the South Africans are thinking about the captaincy of the Boks. Should it be Sia? Should it be Creel? What are your thoughts around that? Anton John Williams. Hi, Mark. How this is going to play out? Give me your honest opinion. Okay, well, my honest opinion is what I said in the preview show today. I think if the All Blacks get off to a good start, and by that I mean they need to put some serious points on the board, 2 or 3 tries in the first half minimum. If the All Blacks are able to do that, then I think they can hold on. They've got a good bench. In fact, I really like the bench the All Blacks have got. And I think they can hold on in the second half. But, and it's a big but, if South Africa stay within touch, they play the game they want to play, and they're able to do that, they execute their rush defence against the All Blacks when the All Blacks try to go to expansive game, then the Springboks are going to be in it. And if it comes down to the kicking duel in terms of penalties and conversions, then I tip my hat a little bit more on Andre Pollard's side than Beauden Barrett's side. So there's my honest opinion. Doc Martin, All Black forwards are far stronger than our Wallabies forward packs. Well, yes and no. I think if you talk about the Wallaby pack that's going up against Argentina this weekend, yeah, it's probably a little bit depleted because of the likes of Slipper's not there, and you're going to be missing Will Skelton, of course, as well, but Harry Wilson's back in the team. I'm interested to see how the Wallaby pack goes against the All Blacks. I really am. Because this All Black pack has to be consistent, and we didn't see that in Argentina. So whether that was a case of Tamati Williams coming back in and just getting his feet under the ground and Wallace Atiti again, that's yet to be seen. But they need to deliver this weekend. That's what's in front of them. Eugene says, Sia will be subbed. Maybe that's why he's not captain. Yep, good point. He's of course, I won't say he's under an injury cloud, but he's probably not 100%. So, yeah, he probably will come off. If Proctor is to own the 13 going forward, what do you think he needs to work on? Can he be the next Conrad Smith? If not, who is next in line? Look, I think Billy Proctor's a really good player. And if you go back and watch my videos at the beginning of last year, and I was talking about him getting more game time, because what I was seeing of him at the Hurricanes, I was pretty impressed with. But the Hurricanes play a different game of rugby than the All Blacks do, and he's got a different role within the All Blacks. And I think that's either taking him time to get used to and how the All Blacks are playing in those combinations, and that's coming back to how they're being coached as a backline. And I think Proctor's a little bit out of his comfort zone at the moment. So I've seen his defensive play get a little bit better. So I'll give him a rating for that. Can he be as good as Conrad Smith? Well, he's going to have to grow some to do that, but it's early days in his career. So I think it's too soon to make that comparison. Conrad Smith was one of our best, of course, but look, all I'm asking for Razor to do is give Proctor a chance, let him play a few games, put him right through the Rugby Championship this year as well as the Northern Tour, and then let's sit down and assess where he's at. But I think he's got to be able to play the game where he can take on the defensive line, use his pace that he's got. He is a good runner with the ball. But I saw him pretty hungry in that game against Argentina. He was going in and doing some good work. So I think he's on an upward trajectory. Wayne, your reason is because you always win. Well, that's not true, Wayne. You don't always win, and you shouldn't have that expectation, perhaps, because you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Argentina did a good job against you last year in Argentina. I think the Wallabies did a great job in the first test this year. They took their opportunity, and I think it's unreal expectation to think your team's going to win every single game. Even the All Blacks in their dominant phase, they weren't able to do that. Even more so these days. And it's probably one of the things that us Kiwi fans have a big issue with, is that we can't let go of that dominant era too easy and realise that other teams are playing great rugby as well. Jasper, mate, 20 minutes in Ellis Park, Box played a kind of rugby that had everybody worried. Watch out, Russie likes to hide and not overplay his hand too early. Yeah, I tell you what, I'll say it again, that 20 minutes at Ellis Park, that first 20 minutes, boy, I don't think I've seen a better control of a rugby game at this level. It was absolutely outstanding. And if they were able to do that for another 20 or 40 minutes, that game would have been way beyond anything Australia could have done, but they didn't. And that's the way that history repeats. So if Russie has been hiding something, as you're suggesting, Jasper, well, let's see. I don't think he has. I think all cards are going to be on the table this weekend. Dushan asks, do you think Razor and his coaching team decide on the game they want to play and then decide on the playing 23? Or pick the 23 and decide on what kind of game they want to play? Look, I think it's a good question. Thanks for asking. I think Razor's philosophy is he wants the All Blacks to play high-intensity, expansive game of rugby, and he's been very articulate around saying that from day one. And he's also been very self-reflecting on the team's performance when they're not able to create that type of game without making a lot of errors. And that's what we've seen. And that's why I said in the preview show today that the error rate from the All Blacks in this game is going to be crucial when it comes to defense and offense, because if they're going to drop balls when they're attacking, those passes that go above the support player's head or even into touch, those are a disaster. There's been too many of those this season. And also the error rate when it comes to missed tackles, and that was a huge problem in the last game. So I think there's no secret in the way that Razor wants this team to play. They probably haven't lived up to, well, not probably, they haven't lived up to the expectation he's been setting them. And I think that's why we're seeing this team again, pretty much the team we saw against Argentina go out with the slight changes, I think, 3 changes. And I think Razor's giving these guys a chance to prove themselves. And if they don't this weekend, then I think we might see quite a lot of changes for Wellington. Johan says, really hope Willie LaRue leaves the referee alone and don't run into aggravated situation. This part of the game gives me the jitters. Yeah, good point. Very good point indeed, Johan. And I spoke about this in the preview video. Players that are going in on the peripheral or the fringes of things that are going on, they need to stay away because they're going to get penalised even worse. And we've seen it in the past, haven't we, with yellow cards being given for indiscretion. So that's no doubt about it. That's going to be a huge part of the game. We've been talking about it for a long time. Doc Martin, 22 years, Bledisloe Cup returning to our shores. Good luck. Well, I'll tell you what, Doc, I think this year is your best chance for a long time. I really like this team. I rate this Wallabies team. You all know how much I admire Joe Schmidt by now, I guess. And if he can field a healthy team against the All Blacks, then that's going to be the second epic game at Eden Park this year. No doubt about it. Kevin Light, hi Mark, as long follower, I'm delighted with you being live. I'm from South Africa now in Ireland and support both teams, but I vote AB on your poll. I think the 50-year record will be a huge motivator. 50-year record, 50-game record. Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for following the channel, first of all. Hope you're enjoying Ireland. It's a beautiful country. The people are fantastic up there. They love their rugby, of course, and we've got lots of Irish supporters on this channel. And, yeah, look, it's going to be a nail-biter. There's no two ways about it. I don't care what anybody says. And these people that are trying to say it's going to be a blowout to either team, I don't know where they're coming from. I really don't. I think it's going to be a close game. And I'm really interested in some of the score predictions. I'm seeing some people are putting 30 points plus to both teams. If it's going to be that score, then we're going to have a hell of a game. But history will tell us that it's going to be pretty tight. And I think it might be lower scoring. I think it's all going to come down to the box defense. If the box rush defence can control the All Blacks' expansive game, it's going to stop them from scoring tries. Easy as that. Wayne says, Razor's not very confident as a coach. Wayne, I'd challenge you on that, and I'd say that Razor's perhaps not very confident in front of the media. And we all have our strengths and weaknesses as human beings, and I think Razor probably just feels a little bit uncomfortable with his work in front of the media. That doesn't mean that he's not a confident man, and I'm sure as an ex-player and somebody that's coached a lot of rugby, I'm sure in front of his players, he gives off a completely different vibe than what you and I get to see in press conferences and such. So, I think a little bit more credit to Razor needs to be given, also from myself. I'll put myself in that. But I think he's a good coach, and sometimes in front of the media is a little bit out of his comfort zone. Great show. Keep it up. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Wayne. I'm not giving you a hard time, Wayne. I'm just replying to your comments today and giving you my honest opinion. That's what I do. That's all I can do. Mr. SA, you predict the score to be All Blacks 17, Box 22. I like that scoreline, not for the fact that Box are going to win the game in your opinion, but that kind of scoreline, that resonates with me. So that could be either way, 22 to the All Blacks, 17 to the Box, 22-19, 21-18, something around there. That sounds pretty close to me. Jasper says 32-31. That's a high-scoring game. I just can't see it. Not at Eden Park with a wet ground and a wet ball, and tough one, I think. David Rothman says Wallabies by 8 and All Blacks by 10. Okay. Anzacs coming to the fore. Wallabies by 8. Well, I've got to stick with the Pumas now because I've said all week that I think the Pumas are going to beat the Wallabies in Townsville. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm not going to put a score prediction because I have no idea, but I think the Pumas are going to beat the Wallabies this time round, and the Wallabies are going to probably win the Sydney game. Okay, looks like the rain will be coming through this evening and all done by kickoff. Let's hope so. Yes. Let's make sure that Eden Park is in as pristine condition as possible. I think they've improved the drainage over the years. As I said on yesterday's impromptu live chat, I was at the 1975 flooded test between the All Blacks and Scotland. It was incredible, that game. Jasper says Pumas by 15. There's a bold one. There's a bold one. Nicely explained, Mark. Thank you. You're welcome, Doc. Mr. SA, mark my words. Russie has something up his sleeve with team selection. Don't be surprised if there's a late change. Okay, we'll mark your words. Let's see if you're right, Mr. SA. Could it be RG Schneemann coming in, do you think? Damien Willemser at fullback. Some people have been asking for that. Mr. Litch, let's just hope the ref and the TMO have a good game. Let's hope they stay out of the game as much as possible. Yeah, that's what we all want, I think. I tell you what, I don't know what you're like when you watch a game, but every time the referee does that double blow on the whistle and the TMO gets involved, I literally start shaking because I just don't want to see what's coming up. It's just... we never used to have that back in the day, and it was so good. Mr. SA, you're getting in there a lot today. Esterhazen and RG to be included to go for 7-1 split. Whoa, that'll be out of the bag, but this is Russie, so whatever could happen. Jasper says, we don't need RG in this game. Okay, Jasper, I understand you're not a fan of RG. I thought Razor came across quite well last night, seemed a lot more measured and calm. Okay, I haven't seen that one, so I should look at it. Well, that's good if he did. Maybe he's getting a bit more confidence, and that's great. So good work, Razor. Tristan says, Russie is known for getting his players in the right mental place for games, teams, and quite equal, but think they can give the Box an edge, the mental space. Well, I'll tell you what, Tristan, in response to your comment there, if the All Blacks are not mentally in the space for this game, they're never going to be, right? Eden Park record on the line, a loss against Argentina last time out. The Springboks World Cup back-to-back champions in your home backyard. If you can't get yourself up mentally for that game, then you shouldn't be putting on the black jersey, that's for sure. That's my opinion, anyway. Eugene, Pumas have cleaned up their game nicely. Great team. Yes, I'm on the Pumas train. And for everybody said they're still inconsistent, you wait for the next 2 games in Australia. I'm hoping they're going to show us that their consistency is now there. They put out a good team to play the Wallabies this weekend. Their back 3 is looking fantastic. They've got Juan Martin Gonzalez. Creamer's come back in again, and they're putting Pablo Matera at number 8. So that's going to be a good experiment for the Pumas this weekend. Doc Martin, I wouldn't be surprised, Mark. Michael Checker and Rugby League's tackled expert David Kidwell. The reason why they're improving because of League's defence. Yep, okay. Yep, wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. I think it's a combination of a lot of things, isn't it? I think Felipe Contepomi's done a really good job and continue to build that team. He gave a lot of young players the chance against that England B team. So that's all continuous process of development. And that's where I've been critical, of course, with Razor, I think, this year. Vickers, I'm interested to see how many Saffers will be in the stadium. There are a lot of us here in New Zealand. I'm going to the Wellington game. Probably won't have too much of an effect. Thoughts? I think there'll be a lot of South Africans there. I know a lot that are going over from Perth, which is almost the second capital city of South Africa. From Perth in Australia, I know a lot of South Africans that are going over to the game. I know there's a lot living in New Zealand. So I think there'll be a voice there. We'll have to wait for the national anthems. That gives us a pretty good indication, doesn't it? Early days in the game. And you're going to the Wellington game. Wow, lucky you. Fantastic. I'm jealous. Let us know how it is after the game. Come back and tell us. Love to know about the atmosphere. I'll tell you what, I was just thinking about Wellington. I've watched only a couple of games at the Cake Tin over the years, but I watched a lot of games at Athletic Park in Wellington. That used to be a fantastic ground for rugby, a lot of history in that ground. 1987 Rugby World Cup game, Argentina, New Zealand. I was sitting there with my mince pie. It was a freezing day, wind blowing. I just thought Athletic Park's got a lot more atmosphere than what this Cake Tin has. Mr. S.A., Mark, I know rugby is a team sport, but which players on either side would be key? Oh, well, that's a tough one because you've got so many great players. And I'm going to answer it in a cryptic way, I think. I think it's those players who are able to play as a team, if that makes sense. So sometimes we see it from a number of players on both sides of these teams go a little bit too much on their own. Bowden Barrett maybe can be guilty of that for the All Blacks sometimes. When it comes off, it looks fantastic, of course. Who else? I think the front 3 for New Zealand are really good, fantastic team players. I think they do really, really well. I've been impressed by Fabian Holland. I've got to tell you, he's a standout for me for this All Black team. And he's coming off the bench, so watch out for him. So, yeah, it's a difficult question, that. Jasper says, I love RG, Mark. He will be perfect for second test against the All Blacks. Okay, yep. Tristan, I think nerves can play a big role. Motivation will be no issue for either team. I agree, absolutely. Doc Martin, Argentina can beat the Springboks. Yeah, well, I've said it, and I keep saying it, and you can keep disagreeing with me, but any team on any given day can beat any of the other team in the top 8. I'll stand by that until the day I die. And that's the way rugby is at the moment. So, yes, Argentina can beat the Springboks, but equally, the Springboks can beat Argentina. And that's what I'm so excited about rugby at the moment. Because we're all sitting here, we don't know what's going to happen in the weekend in both games. It's brilliant. Tristan says, combinations are more important than having the best individuals. Well said, or well written. Yes, totally agree with that. And I tried to make that reference in the preview show. If you haven't watched it, go and have a look at it, because I was talking about how important those combinations are, particularly at 9 and 10 and also 12 and 13. And you've got over 100 plus caps between Damien Deolandi and Jesse Creel versus the All Black side with Geordie Barrett and Billy Proctor. And I think that says a lot in terms of how those guys play together, both attacking and also defensively. And I think that kind of combination is going to be a big thing in this game. Also with the back three with the All Blacks, they're new this weekend, right? So they haven't played a lot of rugby together, these guys. And it's going to be interesting to see whether they come together around that high ball management and they're able to support each other. Carl Dixon likes fast ball, so I'm expecting a whistle at the breakdown. I'm more concerned about the TMO these days, but don't know much about Mike Adamson. Me too. That makes two of us. Generative MIDI. Yeah, I think whatever referee would have got this game, they're going to be looking for fast breakdowns and fast ball. So Carl Dixon's the referee, of course, but I think we were going to be seeing a fast game initiative anyway. That's what World Rugby are wanting to see. So, yeah, good call on that. Deshaun says, if Lord, Darry up their game and play exceptionally well, and if Vi and Holland are also playing well, what happens to Scooter? Is he not getting any younger? It's a good problem to have, though, isn't it, Deshaun? If you've got that situation, I expect Lord and Darry to be big factors in the Rugby World Cup as we get there, and I hope those two guys are going to get more game time. And we'll have to see where Scooter is at it. 2 years is a long time in the world of rugby, as we know, right? Just ask someone like Max Jorgensen, ask someone like Corey Toole, how quick things can change in 2 years in a rugby career. Ask people like Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu, the same thing. So, 2 years out, I'd expect those guys to come up and put a lot of pressure on Scott Barrett, and we'll have to see at the time. David says, the box is getting to be put the sword mark. You heard it here first. When the haka is done, then the box should just forfeit the game because the atmosphere in the Garden of Eden will be electric. Well, I can tell you now, David, that I am suspecting that the box will be standing up very close and fiercely to the haka. And there's no doubt the electric atmosphere is going to be awesome, but I don't think that's going to put them off the game too much. Johnny Blaze, morning, brother. Much love from the homelands. Kia ora, my friend. Welcome. Great to have you here. Hope you're nice and warm this morning, no matter where you are across New Zealand. If you're joining us early in the morning, I appreciate you giving up your time. Tell me what you think of the All Blacks team. All the Kiwis in the chat. Are you happy? Are you happy Rico's in the team? Are you happy that Finlay Christie's at number 9? Are you happy Nara was on the wing and not Sevu Reece? Let me know. Johnny Blaze, they're going to pepper Rico under the high ball and Colby will soar above him, collecting those balls with ease. Yeah, let's hope that's not the case. I can see that happening too. Actually, I've got a good photo of that on my PC. I'll put it out later on Twitter. It's a great photo of Colby climbing up really high to get a high ball off Rico and Anton Leonard-Brown. And for a little guy like Colby, he's outstanding. He could be a basketball player. Mr. Litch, can't wait to see the battle of the 6s and the 8s. Going to be epic. Yeah, no question about it. You can put the 7s in there as well because that's going to be epic as well, watching Peter Steph Toy and Ardie Savea in his 100th game. Big shout out to Ardie as well. 100 caps for the All Blacks. What a game, right, to bring it up and playing at Eden Park in front of your home crowd, 100 caps, playing against the Springboks. It doesn't get any better. Ardie's never going to forget this game in his entire life, one way or the other. One way or the other. Absolutely brilliant stuff. The All Black time looks mighty fine. The best players for the job. Boxers ready and prepared for the battle ahead. Yes. Leon, welcome. Mark, just a question out of curiosity. It would be interesting to know about the state of rugby in Mexico. Okay, well, let me tell you quickly. The Mexican national team are currently ranked number 38 in the world. They are improving. They just need more games against tougher competition. I'd like to see them get down and play against Argentina and Uruguay and Chile. Unfortunately, they play a lot of their games against some of the islands in the Caribbean. Barbados have a good rugby team. Bermuda has another rugby team up north as well. They play them. They play against the likes of Paraguay on a regular basis, Colombia. But they just need a little bit more competition and they need some good coaches here. So if you've got any good coaches in your country that want to come and enjoy a beautiful life in Mexico for a while, get them to come over and join the rugby community. So there's a little bit about the Mexican rugby situation. Tough competition here against NFL and football, but they're doing well. and they're starting to invest more in the game. David Rothman asks, what do you support Doc Martin? He supports Australia, I think, if you read the comments. I might be wrong, but I think he does. Mr. S.A., Mark, have you watched the Chasing Sun documentaries? I have. Absolutely brilliant. I love that kind of stuff. And yeah, put a bit of a tear to my eye, I have to be honest. I love that stuff. It's really, really brilliant. And yeah, what can you say? More of it. More of it. I love the Six Nations series as well. That was brilliant. Leon, thanks for answering. You're welcome, sir. Throw out any questions. I'll try to do my best. Jasper Jeslin can sidestep you in a phone booth. Yes, I don't question that he could. I tell you what, Kainan Moody's got a good sidestep, but he's also good at running around the defence as well, Kainan Moody. So I'm just hoping he gets some chances in the weekend to show what he's up to, because he's very, very good, Kainan Moody, on the attack, but he's got a good sidestep as well. And don't forget Grant Williams. Man, if anybody's got a sidestep, it's Grant Williams. Can't wait for him to have a go sniping from the base of the rucks and scrums in the weekend. That's going to be something I really enjoy watching as a rugby fan. Tristan, did you watch any rugby while in Belgium? Live in Leuven, not far from St. Peter's Woolaware. No, I didn't actually. Tristan, when I was living in Belgium, I spent 13 years in Belgium, Tristan. But I spent my time watching a lot of rugby all over Europe. So I went to the UK and Ireland a lot. I've been a regular at the Aviva Stadium, the Principality Stadium, Twickenham, Murrayfield. I spent a lot of time in France watching rugby, Stade de France, down in Marseille as well. So rather than watching rugby in Belgium, I spent a lot of my time watching rugby all over Europe when I was living in Europe. So thank you for the question. I miss Belgium, I've got to tell you that. I love that place. Love the people. Loved Antwerp. Love going out to the beach as well. Vickers, slightly off topic. How did you end up in Mexico? Well, the very short story is we went and lived in Canada. That's how we ended up in Mexico. So my wife and I, we bought a house and everything in Canada during COVID. And we went there with the mission to set up a couple of businesses in Canada and do some good stuff up there. But unfortunately, Mr. Justin Trudeau, who was the Prime Minister at the time, he didn't want to give me an immigration status, so we had to leave Canada. And we came and lived in Mexico. My wife is Mexican. We have family here in Mexico. And this has been a bit of a transition stop for us. So it's not the end game. Stay tuned for more on that one. So that's why I'm in Mexico. David, everyone put your hands in the sky if you want Christie to score the opening try. You're having a go at me, David, aren't you? Hey? I wouldn't be upset with Finlay Christie scoring the opening try. There you go. I'd be happy. I'd stand up off my seat and give the man a round of applause. No doubt about it. Boy, Tendio, you probably answered this before, but what positions did you play when you played rugby? I haven't answered that question before, so thank you for asking. I was a number 8. I played number 8 in my rugby days, and I used to play for the Tukapa Club in New Plymouth in New Zealand. I know we had someone on the chat yesterday who played for Clifton in Taranaki, so if he's here, he'll know what I mean. Johnny Blaze, Mark is known as the El Jefe and is the head of the cartel in Mexico, importing his product from all around the world. Mate, the only thing I'm importing around here is rugby. That's it. If I can talk to people about rugby, that's what I'm importing. So the cartels have got nothing on me, my friend. Mark, my boy, he got MVP of the year. Proud of my boy. Okay. Mark, what do you do or did that enable you to stay in South many countries? What did you do that enabled you to stay in South many countries? In so many countries. I used to have a corporate job for over 20 years, and I used to travel the world a lot with that job and lived in about 9 or 10, just trying to remember now, 9 or 10 countries around the world for extended periods of time, and have been very blessed and grateful for that opportunity, and worked for an amazing company that is a major sponsor of World Rugby today. And that's what enabled me to visit so many countries, both doing the job. I got to visit over 150 countries around the world, and to live in a lot of different countries as well. So that's where my global love of rugby came from, is I've seen rugby all over the world. Okay, enough about me. Let's get back to the game, guys. Ben, any thought on the LL Blacks game in Chicago against Ireland? Well, the first thing, Ben, is I'd love to be there, but I'm not going to be. It's going to be a cracker, isn't it? Where is it? Soldiers Field again. Fantastic environment, venue for a game of rugby. Ireland, of course, one of the old foe against the All Blacks. And everyone's going to be up for that one. So my thoughts are, let's hope it's another fantastic game, and that all the Kiwis in the United States get along to support the All Blacks in that game, and from Canada as well. Come down. It's going to be a brilliant one. Wish I was there, but I won't be. Doc, he played Lucy. He wants to be a lock. Jasper, I was a number 8 as well. Good on you, Jasper. You know what it's all about then, yeah? We stick together, us number 8s. Boy, 10 Dio. Interesting. Had you pegged for a fullback? I played tight head, then got moved to loose head. Couldn't believe how much easier loose head was. Yes. Yeah, you're right. It is much easier. I played locks for Bathurst Bulldogs and my son. Okay, there's a great rugby team, the Bathurst Bulldogs. I think I've seen them play once, actually, in Sydney. Who were they playing against? The Bathurst Bulldogs. I'll remember that one. I'll come back to you on that, Doc. I watched the Bathurst Bulldogs play once. Dushan, Mark, tell us about why the All Blacks have been carded so many times, and how do we fix it? We need 15 on the park for 80 minutes. Dushan, my view on this is the following. It's not just the All Blacks. These two teams have had 13 cards awarded between the two of them in the last 4 games alone. So the Springboks are just as guilty as the All Blacks, even though the All Blacks appear to have a lot of cards. You asked me about the All Blacks, though, so I'll answer that directly. How do you fix it? Well, it all comes down to discipline, doesn't it? If you look at the yellow cards we've got, Will Jordan knew exactly what he was doing against the Argentine winger when he took off and started running into him. So that's just purely a no-brainer on that one. Sevu Reece knew exactly what he was doing, trying to take that intercept and doing a deliberate knock-on. So these are what I call unforced errors in the game, and this is what Razor harps on about all the time. And this All Black team have not got on top of it in terms of turning these unforced errors into opportunities. And these unforced errors are leading to penalties, and they're leading to cards, and the All Blacks simply have to stop doing them. And that's the way that you fix it, is the discipline has to be better. Doc, I'm too old, like 36 years old. If we're still keen, might have a run. Okay, we're all too old if we're on this chat, that's for sure, Doc. Sean Bishop, Don Clark coached our school first 15. Wow, there's a legend. Don Clark, what a player. Wow. Any more memories, Sean, from that? Were you around at the time? What a man. And Don Clark was such a gentleman as well. Really, really good human being. Tristan, do you think some of the Springboks are burnt out due to 12-month season? Tristan, no, probably no different than a lot of international rugby players at the moment who are all playing a lot of rugby. You know, I understand that the Boks players are playing a lot of rugby as well, but so are a lot of the other international players. So I think with the intensity of the game, the brute strength and physicality of the game, the number of injuries we're seeing throughout this rugby championship, it's all taking a toll, isn't it? So it has to come down to how frequently these players are playing in these big games, for sure. And I don't know whether or not the balance is right. And I think maybe this is why Russie changes his team quite a bit. Well, in fact, it is. He says it on a number of occasions. Jasper's just confirmed it. The Boks have rotated 40 players over 4 tests. And I think a combination of doing that is because they're resting some players, but they're also trying out some other combinations. So if you're able to get that balance right, and that's where I've probably been a little bit critical of Razor, is that I don't think he's quite got that balance right yet in terms of resting players and giving players the opportunity. He seems to have only brought players in when he's having injury issues. And for me, that's probably not good enough, right? So that's where I've been personally a little bit critical of Razor, is that I just think that other than injury concerns in the team, he should be playing other players and giving them a chance. Why haven't we seen more of Ruben Love this year? That's the first question I ask. Rhinus Robertson. Hi, Mark. I'm a bit late. Interested to hear your opinion on our Bok bench. I would have preferred a 6-2, and I'm not at all convinced with Nortje. Not effective as I thought, and Marco is a penalty machine. Well, first of all, Rhinus, welcome to the chat. Lovely to have you here. Thank you for your questions. What do I think of the Boks bench? I think it's a very good bench. I made mention a little bit earlier in the chat that I would have had RG Schneemann in there because I just think he's a game winner, game changer, with those offloads that he can do late in the game to set some of your speedy guys away. He's an absolute danger. So I would have had him in there somewhere. I'm not surprised it's not 6-2 because I think Russie is covering what Razor does in this particular one. And I think by having Ethan Hooker coming in there as well, it gives another speedster option. I think this guy's really dangerous, and the All Blacks haven't seen him yet. So I think that's a masterstroke, bringing him in. As far as Ruben Nortje, he's got better statistics from a line-out point of view than De Jager. So, yeah, I don't see a problem with Nortje. And I've been speaking in my videos about Marco van Staden. I think he's playing on form, and that's why he's in this team. Yes, he gives away a few penalties, but he's been playing really, really, really good rugby. So I'm pleased he's in the team in that 6 jersey in the weekend. So, Rhinus, I hope that answers your question. Thank you for putting those through. Boy 10 Dio, I think Argentina or Australian with a good shout at winning this thing if either of them sweep each other. Yes, they could be. Who knows? It's a crazy rugby championship in 2025. That's why we all love it so much. That's why so much is riding on this weekend's games, plural. Let's not forget about the impact of the game in Townsville on Saturday. I know we're all talking about the Boks and the All Blacks, but that game in Townsville is critical for the championship. Leon, Mark, do you miss the old format of rugby? Do you think the Springboks and ABs would benefit from getting back at it? Yeah, absolutely. For sure. There's no doubt about it. And who did I watch today? I watched one of the old Springboks players saying exactly that he misses the old days of the South African teams in Super Rugby. I do too. I think it was brilliant. And that was hard rugby for me. And this South African, I forget who it was, I watched, one of you probably know in the comments, he was out saying today that he thinks URC is a lot softer rugby than the Super Rugby. That was his words, not mine. Wayne, I played Frank outside centre fullback, so I don't know, it comes from back from the 1987. Yeah, wow, okay, cool. Outside centre, fullback and flank. Wow, versatile. Sounds like you're an Andre Esterhazen kind of player, Wayne. Brilliant stuff. Dushan, the word is Mo'unga will be available for 27 World Cup. He will have no more than a year with the team. Will Razor change his game and team composition in the final year to suit the way Mo'unga plays? Whoa, don't get me started on Richie Mo'unga. It's not probably a good day to do that. Yes, Richie Mo'unga will be available, whether or not he's in the team and they're playing the kind of rugby suited around him. It's a big call, isn't it? I hope we see Ruben Love at 10 over the next couple of years and really gets an opportunity to shine. That's my personal opinion. I'll leave it at that for that comment. Denise, ideally, I'd like to see Cameron Honeycomb at 8 and Sear at 6. Hope he is fit again soon. Yes, Cameron, what a brilliant player. I first saw him play for the Bulls and he played that fantastic game. When was it? Last year for the Bulls. I can't remember who they were playing. And he was in everything. And I just thought, wow, this guy is outstanding. He's got to be in a green and gold jersey. And he's just had bad luck with injury, hasn't he? So, yeah, I'm with you there. I'd love to see Cameron back in the Springboks team. Jasper, I feel the URC have done the Box players very much diverse experience, and you can see how much better they are. Good call. Fair enough. And it's no different than Geordie Barrett going to Leinster to play for 7 months. He came back a different guy because he saw and experienced a different game of rugby, right? And he was under different coaches, playing along different players with different forms of experience, different levels of experience. And, yeah, fair comment, Jasper. Very fair comment. Leon, I think it was Skoltberger. Yes, it was Skoltberger. Exactly. Well done, Leon. That was the man. He was saying that. Tristan, think the Townsville game can be maybe even better than the Eden Park one. I know it's a controversial take. It's not a controversial take with me, Tristan. I think it's a fair comment. And I think because it's likely to be a more open game for the 80 minutes, I think we're going to see an absolute huge amount of points scored in that Townsville game in the weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like 42-36 in that game. And I can hardly see that happening in Eden Park. So, yeah, you might be right. Entertaining. At least it's the entree, isn't it, that game? So we're going to all get our juices flowing and ready to go for the All Blacks and South Africa at Eden Park. So make sure you watch the Wallabies against Argentina. Please support the other teams. I'm going to be. Let's hope this doesn't happen hypothetically. Oops, sorry, lost that one. Morris, welcome. The Saffers say the URC is softer. Yeah, they can't win the cup or most away games. Also, a lot of Safa players play in France. Beat the most physical league in the world. Yeah, fair comment. Maybe let's get away from calling one league softer or harder. Let's talk about the experience it gives to players. I think that's probably a better way of doing it. You know, the All Black players get knocked over their head a bit for going and playing in Japan, but they come back after having experienced different type of rugby. I'm not saying in any way that it's better. I'm saying they get to experience something different. And with players like Geordie going up to Leinster, I think that was a really good move for him to get a different take, to freshen himself up, to be around different environment for a while. If you saw the interview with him the other day, it was very interesting to hear his thoughts about that when he went up to Leinster and the things that he thought it provided to his game, understanding the game better. So I don't think we should too much focus on whether one league is harder or softer than the other. I think what does each league give us in terms of quality of play, opportunity, experience, different types of games. That's what it's all about. Wayne says, my honest opinion, the World Cup must be in the Southern Hemisphere. I hate the North. Oh, Wayne, come on, mate. France did a great job of hosting the Rugby World Cup and got a lot of people along to that Rugby World Cup that had never seen the game of rugby before across Europe. So I think having it in the Northern Hemisphere is great for the game, to grow the game in all of these developing countries like Georgia, Albania, and all these other places. Spain, look at Spain's rugby now. It's really starting to take off in Spain. And if you've been watching my channel long enough, you know I'm a huge advocate for growing the game in the smaller countries. And I just think it's fantastic that we see fans from those countries coming along to a Rugby World Cup in Europe. So, yeah, don't stop that one. Natando says, Eden Park, Wellington. No, my friend, Eden Park is in Auckland. We've got the Cape Town, as we fondly know it, in Wellington. It's the bit of the All Blacks hoodoo ground. They don't like playing there too much. But no, Eden Park is in Auckland, my friend. And by the look of your... Oh, no, you might be somewhere in Africa. If you are, take a trip to New Zealand one day, my friend, and we'll look after you and welcome you with our open arms. Dilshan, Mark, if it was up to you and if money was not a concern, who would you have chosen to coach the All Blacks after Fozzie? I would have put Joe Schmidt in there without a hesitation after Fozzie. And it's, all the stars were aligning for that for me. Joe Schmidt wanted to stay living in New Zealand with his family. He'd already shown his credentials and how good he was as a coach. And I was saddened to hear that Razor had got the job. Not the fact that it was Razor, but I thought Joe Schmidt was the obvious successor to Fozzie. So, yeah, that's who I would have had in the job. And we would have seen, I think, a little bit of a different story to what we're seeing at the moment. And that's no real slight on Razor. I just think they're two different types of coaches. We're seeing that now. And Joe Schmidt's done an amazing job with that Australian team, particularly their backline. Take heed, All Black fans. Doc Martin, Spanish rugby is growing rapidly. Yes, it is, Doc. And it's brilliant too. If you ever get a chance to watch the Spain national team 15s, I'm talking about, play on YouTube or whatever, go and watch one of their games. They've got some really outstanding players. And in years to come, they're going to be another force to be reckoned with in 5 or 10 years, right? Stephen, welcome, Stephen, to the chat. I think if Schmidt takes the reins, the All Blacks will become the mighty All Blacks again. Yeah, I'm on that train a little bit. I think Joe Schmidt would have done an amazing job with this team, but he's not there. We've got what we've got, and let's hope Razor can make it successful as well. Nothing against Razor, as I say. William, thank you for your comment. All Blacks bench is stronger than the box. All Blacks win it in the second half. All Blacks fan from South Africa. You're in the heat of the atmosphere over there, William, aren't you? Yeah, look, I think the bench for the All Blacks is looking good. I can't really complain other than the back line. I think Quinn Tupai is a bit of a question mark for me still in terms of the impact the guy has. I know that Quinn Tupai is a very good player. I'm not knocking his ability as a player, but we just haven't seen, I think, the best of it in this current year of All Black rugby. But the forwards for the All Blacks off the bench, I'm really liking the look of this. I think they're going to do an outstanding job in the weekend. Yeah. I won't say they're stronger, William. I'll say they're as good as what the Springboks have got on their bench. Rhinus Robertson, Fozzie got a bad rap underservingly. He did. No question about it. He got a bad rap before that South Africa game. He got a bad rap when they announced Razor's role and taking over for him. And there's probably a whole list of other things you could say as well. But yeah, I agree. Boy 10 Dio, should Willemse not be in this test? Yeah, a lot of South Africans have said that. I picked Willie LaRue in my team for the reason that he just brings that experience, but he also brings the ability to read the game. And that comes with experience, of course. But I know what Damian Willemse can do. He's an outstanding rugby player at fullback. But for this particular game, I think Russie's got it right putting Willie LaRue in there, as long as Willie can control his emotions a little bit. And I think you all know what I'm talking about. Denise, where in Canada were you? We had a house in beautiful Nova Scotia, right on the water there, and down in the deep south of Nova Scotia near Yarmouth. We lived on an island. In fact, it was an absolutely beautiful part of the world, Denise. We miss it a lot. We loved Canada, all of the people, except the Prime Minister at the time. Johnny, do you think we'll have any cards given in this game? Johnny, I don't want cards in this game, but I think we are going to see a card in this game or two. I just think there's so much pressure on these players. The adrenaline is so much, and I can't see how they're going to be able to keep a cap on it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's no cards. But I just think that I just think the pressure cooker situation is going to be too much for one player. And as a result, we're going to see a card. Denise, we are from Lloydminster. Oh, okay, cool. The current PM is just as bad. Yes, I heard that, Denise. I won't share any of my political thoughts here on my channel, but yeah, I heard that. We're happy in Mexico, let me say it that way. Doc Martin, Mark was in Canada, Ontario. No, Nova Scotia, Doc, just said that one. Back to the rugby, folks. If the Springboks win, it's going to be massive for South Africa. Yes, I suspect it will be. I think it'll be also massive for New Zealand. And actually, that's a good question to ask us all. Will it be bigger in New Zealand or will it be bigger in South Africa? I think the pressure on the All Blacks after losing to Argentina and playing at Eden Park with their record, the pressure's more perhaps on the All Blacks. So if they win, it's more of a relief. Whereas South Africa get beaten, it's more like, okay, yeah, to lose to the All Blacks at home at Eden Park, yeah, we can forgive that one. But if they win, yeah, it's off the charts, right? We're not going to hear at the end of it. CJ, welcome. Thanks for your comment. Great respect for both teams. World champion up against this world number one. Will it be a massive game of the year? 21-17 to the Springboks. Yeah, I mentioned that before as a possible scoreline. I like it either way, Springboks or All Blacks. It could be around about that score, I'm thinking, in the weekend, folks. Morris, Willemse seems to have bulked up a lot, got a bit slower. Has he? I'm sure he could still beat me over the 100. But okay, if he's bulked up a lot, got a bit slower, is that a bad thing though? Is it all about speed these days or size? What do you think? Ben, whoever has the best defense wins. Interesting, Ben. Interesting. So if the All Blacks go out and put 35 points on, you think and they have a bad defense, you still think they'll lose? There's a question for you. Throw it right back at you, Ben. If the All Blacks win, it will signify a sea change, generative MIDI. Excellent point. Now, I want to debate this one a little bit because I was going to ask you all today, if the All Blacks do win this one, is all of a sudden Razor and genius and all the things that everyone's been talking about, him not giving young players a go and putting up with this backline, does that all disappear because we beat the Springboks in one game? Is that what we're going to see? Interested to hear the Kiwis' views on that one. Rhinus, Willie there for the left boot? Could well be. Yep. I mentioned it in the preview show today. That's on the channel now if you haven't seen it. Willie's kicking is also a very important part of this game. He can do 50-22s. He can do good kicks out of the 22 on defense. He's very good at putting offensive kicks up as well and chasing those along with Colby and Moody. So it's not just Andre Pollard and Grant Williams, I think, in terms of the kicking responsibilities for the box. I really like to see Willie LaRue use his talents in that area. Any estimates on the pack weights? Should be close to 930 kilos. Yeah. Let's just call them massive, both packs. Absolutely massive. Rather than size, though, I like to focus on the technicality of the scrums. I think that's going to be an important part, especially with Carl Dixon in charge. I think we're going to see penalties given away. If the props are pulling the scrum down, I think he's going to monitor that area very closely because he's going to want the game to be played quickly and getting the ball out. It doesn't mean the number 9 can put the ball under the number 8's feet in the scrum either. Getting sick and tired of that. Dushan, currently Damien and Jesse are the best midfield combination in the world. Who do we have that can match their durability and class? Who is your 12 and 13 combo? Currently Damien and Jesse are the best midfield combination in the world. Are they? They're very good, no question about it. But I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Choco Barris and Sinti at the moment. I like what I'm seeing out of Iki Tau and Sua Ali. Yeah, I'd probably say that Jesse and Damien are probably the best in the world at the moment. Yes. Who do I see as 12 and 13 combo? I don't think New Zealand's found the answer to that, to be honest, at the moment. Dilshan, my honest answer is I don't think we've found the next Ma Nonu and Conrad Smith combination for the All Blacks. I think Geordie Barrett needs to be at fullback. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to that. And Billy Proctor, well, it's on him now to continue to show us whether he deserves to be in that 13 jersey and whether he can build into something of really, really good brilliance. So the jury is out on the 12 and 13 combo for the All Blacks for me at the moment. We'll learn a lot this weekend. Jasper, Grant will snipe more on Saturday to get front foot ball. Yeah, he will. And this is a big concern I've got, because I think Grant Williams, he can score tries against the All Blacks. We've seen that. He can put the Springboks on the front foot, but more importantly, he can pull the All Black defence away, and he can tie up Savia and Parker and Satiti, and therefore that leaves openings and opportunities for the inside channel. So don't be surprised if we see a bit of blindside play from scrums from the Springboks in this game. I think that's a way they can open up the All Blacks, and also putting kicks in. If Grant Williams can put a kick in behind the blindside wingers for the All Blacks, that's another area that I would be targeting this All Black team. And I think that would be a great thing for the Springboks to do. So yes, I agree with that. Johnny, the TMO is an Aussie. Hopefully that benefits the Kiwis. Not some of the Aussies I know, Johnny. It's probably a disadvantage to the Kiwis. But these guys are in it to make sure we have a great game, I hope. Wayne, why don't you and Tim from Egg Chasers do a show and live like now? Tim from Egg Chasers. Oh, he's a great guy, Tim from Egg Chasers. Why don't we do a show? Well, Tim probably doesn't even know I exist. I know he exists. He's a great guy for the game of rugby across the world. He's doing a fantastic job. So, yeah, collaborations with other channels might be something in the future if they're interested. I don't know if any of them know who I am even. Rhinus, can't wait for set-piece battle, line-outs, scrums, and high ball going to decide the game, plus who misses less kicks to post. Rhinus, I think you've done a great job in summarising the whole game there in a couple of sentences. Well done. Yeah, all those things are going to be important. Tristan, don't think Jesse Creel is quite informed. Damien is still looking good. Yeah, I was going to ask about Jesse. Do you think the captaincy might be playing a little bit in his mind? Do you think that's distracting him a little bit? We've seen it with players over the years, haven't we, that when they get the captaincy, they seem to go off their own game a little bit. I'm not suggesting that's the case with Jesse Creel, but maybe it's having an impact. I don't know. What do you think? Tristan, think a collab with the Kiwi lads might be a good idea. He knows of you. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm up for it. My door is always open to talk about rugby, everybody. So I don't care who it is. If you want to have a respectful conversation about rugby, I'm the first to put up my hand and say I'll be there. Surely the Tamati versus Wilco Low battle's got to be epic. Yeah, for sure. Can't wait for those benches to come on. But I'll tell you what, what's really interesting, I think, as far as the benches coming on, for me, is that when do they come on? And how is that strategically important to the game? And I've talked about this before, when I think Razor's not quite reading the game as far as his bench is concerned at the moment versus what Russie's doing. I see Russie using his bench at better times than what Razor is. So watch out for that in this game. Watch out for when Razor uses his bench. Does he bring them on at the right time to really make a difference? Like, there's no point in bringing Damian McKenzie on with 6 minutes to go in the game, right? You've got to bring him on to let him have time to make an impact and put him in the right position. So let's see what happens there. But yeah, the bench battle is going to be huge this Saturday, probably bigger than it's ever been. You know, the All Blacks haven't had a front row coming off the bench like this before in the history, I don't think. Prove me wrong if you know they have. Lindsay, loving your videos, Mark. Thanks for sharing your love of rugby. Always interesting to hear your thoughts. Thank you very much. Lovely comment. I love the game like so many of you do, and I just love chatting about it. So if there's people that will listen to me, that's beautiful. Thank you. I can't wait to see Christie and Grant battles in this game. Yep, it's going to be good. Yep, I won't tell you who I think is going to come out on top. I might upset a few Kiwis. David, imagine if the All Blacks lose. Just imagine how the players will feel to be the first All Black team to lose the record. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to take, isn't it? Especially after losing to Argentina in their last test match. So if they were to lose, God forbid, it's going to be on Artie's 100th cap as well. And we had Cody Taylor's 100th cap in the last game that they lost in. So two players, I don't know, if anybody knows, has this ever happened in rugby at this level before? Have two players from an international team who have celebrated their 100th cap lost 2 weekends in a row. That would be an amazing stat to find out. But let's hope it doesn't come true. But yeah, I think New Zealand will go into a state of emergency at full time if they lose. And who knows what will happen after that. Dilshan, who do you think invented the hybrid Dilshan? I hope I'm saying your name right. And I love your questions, so keep them coming. Who do you think invented the hybrid player requirement? Razor seems to be really interested in hybrid players and not specialists. Specialists won us 2011 and 15 World Cups. Dilshan, my reply to that is yes, they did, but the game's changed a lot and it's continuing to change. So when you see a player like Andre Esterhazen, who's able to come in and play in the back line and then get in there as a flanker, as a loosey, this says a lot about the different attributes that a player can bring to their team. And I think this hybrid player thing has a little bit of merit associated with it. Is it going to make a difference in the next Rugby World Cup? Perhaps it is. You've got to remember that a World Cup tournament is over a lot of games, and having the right players in the right positions who are able to play at that particular level is going to be crucial. We've seen it already with the All Blacks this year with their halfbacks, right? And we saw it with Australia with James O'Connor coming in as their fourth choice number 10. But O'Connor can play anywhere in the back line, can't he? So it's a really good question. And I'd like to know what others think about this hybrid player philosophy. Is it going to be something we see more and more of? Rugby Guru, you are very modest, Mark. You, Tim and Wilco are the best. Well, thank you very much. I'm certainly not in the league of those people you've named, but I do my best and I present you with my honest reality of rugby every time I make a video, and that's all I can do. So thank you for that. Rhinus, haha, Australia's still in pound seats. I think they get 2 for 2 and sneak one against the All Blacks. They win because I think the Box might sneak just one against the All Blacks. Look, the permutations of this rugby championship are extraordinary, aren't they? Like, what if Argentina win 2 in Australia and beat the Box in 1? How many people are thinking of that? And how many people are thinking Australia win 2 in Australia and then 1 against the All Blacks? There's a lot of people thinking that. Believe me, there's a lot of people, and that can happen. G'day, Barry. Thanks for your comment here. Is Damien McKenzie actually in the line-out? I didn't see his name. Yes, Barry, he is. He's number 23, the last player named for the All Blacks. He's going to be coming off the bench, and he's in there to make a difference again for the All Blacks. Wayne, good night from South Africa. Thank you, Wayne. Thanks for joining. Great to have you with us. Have a beautiful evening and enjoy the game if we don't hear from you between now and then. Rugby DNA, why is Vincent Cog not playing? I heard that he might be injured. Picked up something at training, I think. I would have had him in there as well. Think he's brilliant, but I think he did get injured in training, or they've just gone with Wilco Low because he's Wilco Low, and that's what he brings. It's impossible to have all the talent on the field at the same time. Morris, for Ardie, love to see New Zealand win. Yeah, it would be a monumentous celebration for Ardie, wouldn't it, on his 100th game? And as I said earlier in the chat, no matter which way the game goes, Ardie's going to remember this game, that's for sure. So, yeah, good luck to Ardie, and fantastic servant of rugby in New Zealand, and just such a great ambassador for the sport across the world. I don't think I've been to any country in the world and talked about Ardie Savea and anybody's had a bad word to say about the guy. Just a absolutely brilliant ambassador for the sport, as there are a lot in the South African team as well. Samir, hello from Georgia. Welcome. If the All Blacks attack the Box at the breakdown in the 10 to 12 channel at the line-out or in there, which cracks first, and how does the swing momentum at Eden Park? 10 to 12 channel. Yeah, it could be interesting. Look, from what I've seen at the moment, the All Blacks getting through that 10 and 12 channel with Bodie and Geordie Barrett, it just hasn't been happening for me. And I would like to see the All Blacks go deeper in their attacking stance and allowing those guys more opportunity to beat the defence, hands up. So I don't think that's the right way for the All Blacks to attack the Bok defence. I think the Bok defence, the rush defence, is going to be up too quickly anyway. So I think it's probably likely that the All Blacks crack first because of the rush defence. And how does that swing momentum at Eden Park? I think momentum is going to be a huge part of this game either way, not only around this particular aspect of the game, but I think that the team that can handle the momentum shifts in this game, so that comes down to patience, discipline, of course, and the ability to make the right decision. So if the All Blacks take off in the early part of this game, which some people are expecting. They score 2 or 3 quick tries. It's going to be important for South Africa to get the momentum back and to be patient in this game. If we go back to Ellis Park in Johannesburg, to the first game between Australia and the South Africans, imagine being in the Australian camp after that first 20 minutes. How they didn't lose it mentally in that game, that's something that a lot of people are not talking about. They stayed in that game mentally. They remained patient. They kept to their game plan, and they eventually started coming back. And that's the kind of thing that I'd like to see from either team this weekend. When that momentum shifts in a game, you've got to stay in there. You've got to believe in it. So that's a really good point. Thank you for bringing it up. Boy 10 Dio, All Black pack is always so much more mobile than the South African pack. It's clear enough. Rassie can't start Wilco because of that detail. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I won't say always more mobile, but on many occasions they are. And that's why I'm really interested to see how Simon Parker, Adi Savir and Wallace Satiti go this weekend. I think that mobility over the size of the Springboks could be a telling factor in this game. Doc Martin, I know the All Blacks become a different species in Auckland. Could this make ABs click? Well, let's hope so. We haven't found anything else this year that makes them click, so let's hope it's the Eden Park aura. Let's hope so. Chanel, welcome. Chanel, welcome to the chat, and thanks a lot for your regular comments on my videos. I appreciate you very much. What are the chances discipline ends up deciding this test match? A huge chance, because it could lead to cards, of course. It could lead to penalties that are kickable for either team. If it's going to be a close match on the scoreboard, then a penalty either way. Now, often as rugby fans, I'm quite perplexed by this. We don't talk a lot about the importance of kicking for goal, do we? We just don't talk about it a lot. We talk about the forwards and we talk about tries scored, but that goal kicking is so important. And we saw it in Argentina, didn't we, with Santiago Carreras for the Argentinians. He had an absolute on day with his kicking, didn't miss anything, put the Argentinians out there. I think he scored 19 points of his own in that game. And Beauden Barrett, in the first half, he couldn't miss anything. In the second half, he couldn't get anything over. That's how important goal kicking is. So, yeah, I think discipline could end up deciding this test match, and penalty kicks, definitely. Good point. Tristan, do you watch the Keogh and Zell's show? They said they are disappointed in the team selections of both teams. No, I don't watch their show. If you want to send me a link sometime, I'll check it out, or I'll find it myself. They're disappointed in team selections. You also got to remember what the coaches had to be able to choose from. There's a lot of injured players at the moment, a lot of wounded players on both teams, and some players that are really out of form, like Sevu Reece, and he's been held accountable for that finally by Razor. So I applaud Razor for that. But disappointed in team selections, like I'm really happy with the All Blacks bench. I think it's fantastic. Quinn Tupai is the only question mark for me. And for the rest of the team, with what we've got available, because Razor's too conservative in his selections, in my opinion. Don't know. Rhinus, can't take anything on Keogh and Zell seriously. Okay. A couple of comedians, are they? I better check it out then. I like a bit of funny stuff. Rhinus, Mark, who would you have started between Holland and Vi? Well, I would have gone with Fabian Holland. He was in my team, but I would have put Tupou Vi at 6. I would have brought Simon Parker off the bench. And the reason for that, to give you some clarification around that, Fabian Holland's done a fantastic job for the All Blacks this year since he's been starting. I wouldn't disrupt the apple cart in that one. And with Tupou Vi, I just see so much good things from him in the line-out options for the All Blacks. So without him being on the field in that capacity necessarily later in the game, could be a problem unless Vi goes to 6 and Parker goes off. So there's my answer on that one. David, Pollard to have a stinker of a game. You heard it here first. Let's hope not. Let's hope everybody plays to their best of their ability and we don't have any excuses around somebody having a poor game. I don't want to see that or wish that upon anybody in either team. David R. late to join. Welcome, David. Where are you from, mate? So sorry, I've already discussed. How do you think Rico keeps his spot? Isn't his lack of form as bad as Sevu's? Yeah, we talked about the Rico thing. Yes, we don't know how he keeps his spot. No one in the chat's been able to give me a significant reason. I did read out this earlier. Rico has played against the Springboks 14 times. He's been on 6 winning teams for the All Blacks against the Boks. He's been on 7 losing teams, and he was on 1 team that drew against the Boks. So he hasn't got a good record against the Boks. He hasn't got a good record of late, but Razor's sticking with him. So let's see what happens in the weekend. Doc Martin, absolutely, Mark. Fabian on, Parker on the bench. Yeah, that was just my thought. David R. from California. Welcome, David, on the West Coast. Chanel, as a South African, this is the first time we're seeing Rassie not go 6-2 or 7-1 in a big game. I, for one, am not sure what to read into that. What's your view? Yeah, I talked about this one before too, Chanel, and it was, for me, it's a case of Rassie is mirroring what Razor does, and I think it's important to have that cover that he's got coming off the bench for the back line. I think Kobus Reinhardt is a really good attacking player to come on in the second half. He can score a try. He's very fast, as you know, from the base of the ruck and the scrum. So I like that option, but I also like what Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu can bring. I'm just not too sure what intention Rassie has when he comes onto the field, because for me, Andre Pollard can control the game with his kicking, but he can also open it up into an expansive game if the Boks decide to do that on different occasions throughout the game. So that's an interesting one. And with Ethan Hooker, you've got someone that can score tries and come back into the game. So whether Rassie's thinking was, look, if we're behind, we're going to have to score some points. And to do that, we need the power on the backs on the bench. And that's the only thing I can think of around that one, Chanel. Does that make any sense? Let me know below. Stephen, cheers, rugby fans. Thanks for the chat, Mark. I'm off. Lekker evening to you all. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you very much. I appreciate it's getting late for some. I'll tell you what, I'll go for another, there's still quite a few people here, so I'll go for another 24 minutes. We'll go up to 2 hours. Then I'll call it off so everybody knows when I'm going to end, and we can call it a night or a morning, wherever you are in the world, or an afternoon, and get back to work for those that are working. Dilshan, no, stay. Okay. We have questions. Okay, well, keep firing the questions and I'll answer them as quickly as I can. Mark, Chicago's a short flight away from Cancun. Will you be watching the rematch versus Ireland at Soldier Field? No, unfortunately, I won't be. Yes, it's a short fly away, but it might be a short fly away, but it's a very expensive exercise to get up there to watch the rugby game. And to be honest with you, Dilshan, every spare penny and peso I have at the moment is going into my Rugby World Cup 2027 kitty. I'm trying to establish a means of being able to get to Australia to cover the whole Rugby World Cup for you all in 2027. So that's where all my little pennies and pesos are going at the moment. Farid, Boks fans are not happy with this squad. Why not, Farid? Tell me why you're not happy. It looks damn good to me. And don't forget, you've got some injured players and some players that need a bit of a rest. But I'd like to know why you're not happy. Doc Martin, Stephen Burrow, take care, mate. Good one, Doc. Yeah, rugby fans around the world respecting each other. That's what I love. I think I've caught up. Jasper, I like the 5-3 split from Rassie. It brings balance. Jasper, I'm with you on that. I agree. Let's see how it goes. He's going to change it up for Wellington. We all know that. So let's see how it goes this weekend. Sports Unfiltered. Hey, Mark, how are you, mate? I'm fantastic, mate. Muchas gracias for asking. It's 41 degrees outside, Celsius, that is. And I'm stuck in here with the air conditioning on, trying to keep cool, talking about rugby. There cannot be a better time in my life. So thank you for asking. I hope you're well as well. Where are you based? Oh, Vickers, thank you. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Thank you very much for that contribution. I'm going to... Actually, I should tell everybody that any money that I make from this YouTube adventure, I'm putting towards my World Cup fund to go to Australia in 2027 to try and bring you all some amazing content from down under, and to take my wife to New Zealand for the first time. She's never been to my homeland. So while we're down there, I want to take her to New Zealand. So anything that I earn from YouTube, doing all my videos and lives and all that stuff, will be going 100% towards that cause of going to the Rugby World Cup to bring you as much great content as I possibly can. So Vickers, thank you for kickstarting that. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Farid, Sia is not an 8 according to Bok Metal, and he doesn't select RG Schneeman, the best lock on earth. Okay, I hear you now. I understand. So I think having Sia in there for at least the first half is going to be significant for the South Africans. I think he does contribute a lot in that way. And I think, I would have liked to see Quagga Smith at 8 again. I think he did a fantastic job in the last game, but it makes more sense to have Quagga coming off the bench, of course, and having that impact. And I've already said a number of times throughout this this chat today that I think that lost my train of thought, sorry. Having the 5-3 split is an important thing, but also RG Schneeman, not having him in the team, that's my point. Not having RG Schneeman was, or is, I think, a bit of a mistake, in my opinion. Sports Unfiltered, I'm down the street and play at the Carmen. Oh, right. It's hot as hell today. Got the air conditioner. No, it is hot as hell over here. That's for sure. And if you go outside for 5 minutes and don't even think going for a run in this stuff, because it's just terrible. Sports Unfiltered, how long have you been over here, mate? Let me know. Rhinus, can't understand why Russie not playing Faf. He played 15 minutes this year and was our quickest clearing scrum half by far. I wonder what's going on with that. Yeah, good question. Well, first of all, Grant Williams is going really well. And if you've watched my channel long enough, you'll know that I'm a big fan of Grant Williams. I think he's the future and obviously heading to the Rugby World Cup. But having Faf on a tour like this to New Zealand and having him coming off the bench, we might see Faf in Wellington. Let's see. I would have liked to seen him play as well. And when I put my team out the other day, the South African team, I was pondering over whether or not Faf would be in there. Okay, everyone, we've got 18 minutes left of this live chat, so throw your questions, thoughts, ideas, comments. This will be our last chance together before the game, so let me know all the things that you are thinking if you haven't already. Tristan, I think it's because he's getting on in age. Okay, could well be, but there's some old guys on that field, Tristan, for the South Africans. Eben Etzebeth's playing some of the best rugby I've seen him play for a long time. Willie LaRue's getting on, of course. Doc Martin, she'll love it in New Zealand. Remind her it's really cold there, Mark. Yes. I'll tell you what, my wife has researched more about New Zealand than anybody I've known on this planet. She's ready to go tomorrow, and she knows probably more about the country than I do, of late anyway. But she knows it's cold. She loves the cold. She was the one that wanted us to go and move to Canada. So there we go. Sports Unfiltered moved in 2021, got the residency. Not many Kiwis out here or rugby out here. Yeah. Okay. Got here in 2021. So you got here just before me. When did I come? 2022. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Great. No, there's not many Kiwis out here. You're right on that one. Have you been to see the Cancun Hammerheads play yet? That's your team. Dushan, thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution. That's brilliant. That's going directly into my World Cup Rugby Fund for 2027. Thank you very much for supporting that. Mark, if you were to call the game today in team selection, what's your score prediction? Somewhere around 21-17. 21-18, that's my score prediction for either team. That's about as close as I can get to it, I think. Chanel, could we see another Bismarck yellow type of decision given the pressure from the crowd? Let's hope not. No, I don't think we're going to see that. We're going to see a fair game. I think we're going to see two teams going at it, but I think we're also going to see two teams that are respectful for each other. It's going to be hard rugby. It's going to be tough rugby. That first 20 minutes is going to tell us a lot. But let's not see any cards. Rhinus, thanks, Mark. Great chat. Cobus, 2 years older and not better than Faf. Okay, good call. Yep, fair enough. I like Faf de Klerk. He's a good little halfback. But I tell you what, Cobus, don't underestimate that guy's speed. He's fast. He's fast. Dilshan, guys, I watch Mark quite often, just showing my appreciation, learn a lot from him, love his constructive criticism of the All Blacks. Thank you, mate. I appreciate it. I try to do my honesty. That's all I can give you on my channel. And I know that at times it upsets some people. I understand that with your passion for your teams, particularly if you're a New Zealander. You don't like to hear a Kiwi being critical of their own team. But, yeah, I love the game of rugby first and foremost, and I just try and share that as authentically as I possibly can. Sports Unfiltered. How do we counter the rush defence? It's been New Zealand's Achilles heel for 7 years now. My opinion on the rush defence is stand deeper and use a different combination of getting the ball out. So I'd like to see Geordie doing the chip kicks over the top every now and again, but if Bowden's standing deeper and Geordie and Billy Proctor are able to run on the board, you have a chance of getting outside wide on the South Africans. And this is why I harp on that I'd like to see Will Jordan on the wing again, because he's got the ability to explode around the outside of any wingers in the world. And if the All Black backline is deeper, you have that option with Jordan. Of course, he can come into the backline from 15, but I think over the years we've seen him be more impactful when he's been playing in the 14 jersey. So my opinion on that is to stand deeper on attack for the All Blacks and to make sure that Bowden gives the ball off to Geordie quickly so the outside backs can really get into the game. That's my view on it. Tristan, would you rather win with a dodgy ref decision or lose fair and square? Oh, I don't want to win with a dodgy ref decision. No way. Lose fair and square. I've got no problem with losing to a better rugby team on the day. Yeah, always. Morris, Mark, I'll meet you in Aussie land for a cold one. I'm saving my reals from Brazil to go to watch the Rugby World Cup. Morris, you've got a deal, mate. I know a couple of good bars in Brisbane and Sydney and Melbourne that we can get into and have a cold one and talk about the great game. So you got a deal. Doc Markin, I like is here. Who's here? Cobus, Reinhardt, or Fafs? Oh, Faf de Klerk, I guess you're talking about. Mark, as a number 8, in your opinion, who do you prefer to be the number 8 for our All Blacks? John, thank you for the question. John, I like Wallace Satiti a lot. When he first came on the scene, he brought something different. I think the oppositions are starting to read his game a little bit, so he needs to change that up a little bit now to be as effective. But I'd like to see Simon Parker at number 8 as well. I think that would be a good option. I think the days of Artie at 8 are over. I think we need to see Artie at 7. But I really like to see Simon Parker at 8. But I'm backing Wallace Satiti as well. I think he's a fantastic player. David R., I appreciate the honesty. New Zealand media pundits need to try it on a little more often. Thank you, David. I think there's horses for courses. I think if you look across the media and world rugby, you have different people from different organisations who have a vested interest financially to say and do certain things. I'm just a little Kiwi man sitting in Cancun in Mexico with my opinions that no one can influence. I've got no brothers in the team. I've got no loyalty to the coach. But I hear you. And I guess the great thing for you all in the audience is you can choose who you watch and listen to. And that's the beauty of having YouTube and all these other channels, right? Farid, Kiwi bench is where the game will be won. Kiwi bomb squad. Okay. Yeah, I'm impressive with the bench, except for the backs, maybe Quintupaya a little bit doubtful. But yeah, I'm loving that front row coming off the bench. Fabian Holland and Duplessis Karefi. Yep, I can see that being good. JD, thank you for your comment. Mark, do you think Hooker and Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu are ready for this kind of pressure? Isn't Russie taking a big risk here? No, I don't think he is. And I tell you what, there's a lot of people out there in the rugby world who are a lot more conservative than me. I understand that. I respect that. But I'm the guy that says, look, you've got these players, give them a chance and let them show what they can do. And if they're good enough, they're going to be able to stand up and deliver on the day. Sasha hasn't lost a game to the All Blacks yet. Remember that, right? And Ethan Hooker, from all the things that I've been told, he's an outstanding player. So I'm sure that if you look back on Australia, Max Jorgensen, he got his opportunity under Joe Schmidt to come in, and look what he's done. Corey Toole came in that last game, played brilliantly well for the Wallabies. Joseph Suaalii was given an opportunity, unproven, untested. Wallace Satiti for the All Blacks was given an opportunity, and look what he's turned into. Fabian Holland was given an opportunity for the All Blacks. Look what he's turned into. So I'm a kind of guy that says, live by the sword, die by the sword. Give me an opportunity and show me that you're great in that position, and then the jersey's yours. And that's how I think Russie's thinking with these guys. So I support what Russie's doing with both Hooker and Sasha, because I think it's good for them and it's good for the game. It's good for South African rugby. Johnny, thanks for your comment. Johnny, I hope Finlay really steps up his game and quiets the New Zealand public perception of him. You better include me in that, Johnny, as well. I'm sure you do. And I hope he steps up as well. I don't want Finlay Christie to have a bad game. And, you know, he's down the list of halfbacks as far as choices, but he's there. He's there to do a game. He can deliver a good conservative game, and on the day, it may be enough. Yeah, I hope he does step up. Hope he puts me in my place. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate it. Dushan, what would be your advice to Razor for the game this Saturday? What would you do or say to the team to bring out the best of them? I put the word care away for a while, Dushan. I'm not relating to this word care, but look, I don't think these players playing for the All Blacks on Saturday night need to have any motivation. They're playing against the back-to-back world champions. They're playing at Eden Park, where they haven't lost in 50 games. They're coming off a loss in the Rugby Championship competition to Argentina. They've got a huge weight of expectation on their shoulders. If you need to be motivated by your coach to go out there on Saturday night and run out on that field and play your best game ever, you've got your vice captain who's playing his 100th cap. And this is where I was so disappointed in the All Blacks in Argentina. Cody Taylor got to celebrate his 100th cap with a loss. That was a disgrace, I think, from the All Black team and not doing enough in that game to win it. Well done to Argentina, as I've been saying. But I don't think there is any need for Razor to have to say anything to put these players in a mindset to go out there and do the job for the New Zealand All Blacks on Saturday night. That's what I'll say. David, Mark, before you sign off, who are you picking in the Women's World Cup between the Black Ferns and Ireland? Oh, the Kiwi girls, of course. David, I've got to back the Black Ferns. And yeah, it's going to be a great game though, right? Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm not watching a lot of the Women's Rugby World Cup, but I am going to be watching the later stages of the tournament. So yeah, picking the Black Ferns. David, to answer your question. Sports Unfiltered, who are your next young guns from New Zealand you think will be good? I heard you mention Jacob. Yeah, the Taranaki number 10. He gives me Nick Evans vibes, can do it all. Yes, he does. And I saw him play the other week against Auckland. He set up, I think he scored 3 tries and he set up a couple of others. Played an outstanding game on a very wet pitch, like it's probably going to be on Saturday night. So, yeah, Jacob, I rate very, very highly. But I'd like to see the guys that have been sitting around the peripheral getting in there and getting some quality game time. I want to see more of Ruben Love in a black jersey. You know, if you've been around watching me for a while, you know that I was pestering Razor last year about Billy Proctor not getting enough game time. He's finally getting game time this year, but I think we lost a year in Billy Proctor's evolution as a player. And I don't want to see the same thing happen to the likes of Ruben Love. And now that Kyle Preston's in the team or in the environment of the team, I want to see him getting opportunities as well. wouldn't it be fantastic if we had 4 fantastic halfbacks that we could choose from and rotate them accordingly when we wanted to against different opposition? So rather than looking at maybe next generation, I'd like to look at those players that are on the peripheral at the moment that are not getting sufficient game time, and seeing Sam Dowie and Josh Lord getting more and more time in that All Black jersey to bring them up to the level we want them to be at. I think that's really, really critical. And as far as the other young ones, Riley's a good one, isn't he? Young Riley, he's somebody else that I think's got big potential for the All Blacks in years to come. But let's get this wave of players that are already there that just need to get more game time. Good question. Thanks for asking it. David R., good answer on the power of money in corporations. That's what makes your channel one of the best. Thank you, David. Jasper, Ethan Hooker is a devil on the field. Look, I've only watched him play 1 game of rugby, so I can't wait to see Ethan Hooker play on the weekend. The South Africans give him a big rap, and quite rightly so from what I hear. So really looking forward to it. And I hope he has a good game. I hope his memory of playing at Eden Park against the All Blacks is fantastic. I want every player to go away from this game in the weekend, putting this game in their memory. Of course, there's going to be a disappointed team at the end of the game, but I want every player to remember the game, the occasion. Like, I've never seen fans this excited over a All Black game at Eden Park. This is one of the best things I've ever seen. Morris, honesty in rugby is a must mark from all fans. Respectful but honest, your work is both. Keep it going. Thank you very much, Morris. And yes, brilliant deal. I'll see you in Australia, mate, and we'll have a cold one together. JD, great point. Gavin, what did Gavin say? What did Gavin say? I missed Gavin's comment. Okay, 5 more minutes, folks, and then I'll be closing up. So if you've got any last thoughts before I do go in a few minutes' time, I just want to thank you all for taking time out of your day. I know that you're all very busy people. I know there's a huge amount of rugby content out there that you can all be watching and supporting. So I do appreciate every single one of you spending your time here with me. I will be making the live streams more frequently. I've just started doing them. This is my 3rd one, and hopefully I'll get better at doing them as well. So that's something. But let me know if you want to see this kind of content more often. If you do, give me ideas on what you want us to discuss. I'm going to keep doing all my other videos. I love doing those and talking about the games before and after. But if there's anything specific that you want us to talk about on live streams, give me ideas. Happy to go with that. Dushan, what will be your video and topic of discussion for tomorrow, the day before the big game? Going to do 2 tomorrow, Dushan. One is going to be the preview of the Australian-Argentina game. So I ask all Blacks and South African supporters to please watch that video. It seems as though we need to get more people behind those teams as well, even if it's your 2nd or 3rd team of choice. Get behind them and support them. I've got a few things to say about those teams now that have been named by Joe Schmidt and Felipe Contaponi. So that'll be coming out tomorrow, and I'll do a short one tomorrow as well about my last thoughts on this game after I read back all of your comments. So it's going to be a bit of a feedback video on that one for this game tomorrow based on all the things that you've said. So I hope that pleases you, Dushan. On remembering the game for the right reasons, I really hope the ref and officials have a great game. Nothing can spoil it more than over-anxious refs and officials. Thanks for the great chat. Thank you, David. Spot on point. Fantastic. Thanks, Mark. Hope these live streams become a regular thing. Yes, I'm happy to do them. What do you think about Simon Parker at 6? Andreas, I think Simon Parker at 6 is a good move. I see him long-term at number 8 for the All Blacks in this team. But let's see how he goes. I'm excited. He's a big guy. He's good with the ball in hand. I hope he doesn't go missing in the game. I'll leave that there for speculation. Gavin McGrath. Gavin McGrath. Do I know you, Gavin, from somewhere? I said that both teams have been making too many errors, penalties, and cards. The most disciplined team with least mistakes will win as it's too close to call. Yep. Can't fault that call, Gavin. I think you're spot on, mate. And we've been talking a lot about that today in the chat. Jasper, thank you for being you, Mark, and your awesome live. You're welcome, Jasper. It's hard for me to be anybody else, mate. Who's the Kiwi 10 for the World Cup 2027, Morris? Ruben Love. There you go. How about that? Number 10 for the All Blacks at the Rugby World Cup 2027, Ruben Love, with Richie Mo'unga coming off the bench. That'll upset a lot of people. Okay, 2 hours is up, everybody. Thank you very much. It's been really enjoyable. I love having a chat with you all. You've asked some really great questions today, made some great comments, and I'll see you all again tomorrow. Australia-Argentina preview video, and my last words about the Springboks and All Blacks to hit the Eden Park ground at 7:05 kickoff. Don't be late for the big game. Make sure you watch the national anthems, pray for good weather and good refereeing, and I'll see you all on the other side. Stay well, everyone. Keep enjoying your rugby, and thank you very much for your support. Bye for now.